Life hasn't been easy for me. My name is Emily Carter, and I live in Austin, Texas with my 4-year-old daughter, Lily. I used to have a husband, Mark, but he passed away in a car accident 3 years ago. Since then, it's been just me and Lily, trying to make it through each day. I was 6 months pregnant when he died. Losing him crushed me, but I couldn't fall apart. I had a little girl to raise and another baby on the way. When my son, Noah, was born, I thought maybe things would start getting better. But single motherhood is a different kind of struggle, one that leaves you exhausted in every possible way. Money was always tight. I worked as a receptionist at a dental office, but between rent, daycare, and groceries, there was never enough left over for anything extra. Despite everything, I did my best to keep Lily happy. She was my whole world, a bright, bubbly girl who still thought life was full of magic. And if I'm honest, she was the only reason I kept going. One day, out of nowhere, she asked, "Mommy, can we go to Burger King?" It had been weeks since we'd eaten out. The idea of a night without cooking, a little treat for Lily, didn't sound so bad, so I said yes. And that's the night my world fell apart. Burger King was only a 10-minute drive from our apartment. I pulled into the parking lot, grabbed my purse, and helped Lily out of the car. It was around 7:30 p.m., just after sunset. The parking lot was mostly empty, a few cars scattered near the entrance. We walked inside and I let Lily pick whatever she wanted. A kid's meal with chicken nuggets, fries, and a chocolate milk. I ordered something small for myself and found a booth near the back. For the first time in what felt like months, we were laughing. Lily was telling me a story about a new friend at daycare, her little hands waving excitedly. I was soaking in the moment, thinking maybe things weren't so bad. Then I heard a crash. I turned just in time to see a man in a hoodie grabbing Lily. Everything happened in seconds. Before I could react, before I could scream, he was running out the door with my daughter in his arms. I bolted up, knocking over my drink. My legs felt like they weren't moving fast enough. By the time I got outside, all I saw was a black van speeding away. I collapsed onto the pavement, gasping for air. Then my phone rang. A blocked number. I answered, my voice shaking. "If you call the cops, she dies," a deep voice said. $7,000. Tomorrow. No police. Or she's dead. Then the line went dead. I couldn't breathe. $7,000? I barely had $4. I ran back inside, trying to think. What could I do? Who could I call? My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. There was one person I knew who might be able to help. Jason Miller. He lived a few doors down from me in our apartment complex. He had always been friendly, always offering to help carry groceries or fix things around my place. I knew he had feelings for me, but I had never let it go further than polite small talk. But Jason wasn't just some guy. He had a past. Rumors floated around the complex, stories about how he had been mixed up with the wrong people years ago. Some said he used to work in private security. Others whispered about something darker. I didn't know what was true, but right now, I needed help. I ran to my car, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. I drove straight home and banged on Jason's door. He opened it within seconds, looking surprised to see me. "Emily, what's wrong?" I could barely get the words out. "They took Lily." His expression changed instantly. His easygoing smile disappeared, replaced by something dangerous. "Tell me everything," he said. Jason didn't hesitate. The moment I told him what happened, he grabbed his jacket and his gun. "You're not paying them," he said, voice cold. "You're getting your daughter back." I had never seen him like this before. Focused, deadly. I had no idea what Jason had been before he moved to Austin, but it was clear. He wasn't just some guy who lived down the hall. Using an old contact, he traced the phone call to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. He handed me his spare gun. "Stay in the car," he ordered. "If things go bad, drive. Don't look back." I didn't argue. We pulled up to the warehouse just before midnight. Through a crack in the window, I saw Lily. She was tied to a chair, her little face streaked with tears. 4 men stood around her. Jason stepped out first. "Let's talk," he said, raising his hands. "No cops, no problem." One of the men laughed. "Hand over the cash." Jason moved fast, too fast. Before they could react, he knocked one out cold. The second guy reached for a gun. Jason shot him in the leg. The others? They ran. I rushed inside, untied Lily, and held her so tight she squeaked. "Mommy," Jason grabbed my arm. "Time to go." We ran. The police arrived hours later after an anonymous tip. Jason made sure they had no idea we were involved. Lily was safe, that's all that mattered. I tried to go back to normal, but something had changed. Jason had saved my daughter's life, and I couldn't stop thinking about him. A year later, he proposed. At first, I hesitated. I was scared. Scared to let someone new in, scared to move on from Mark. But Jason had already proven something to me. He would do anything to protect me and my kids, and that's the kind of love you don't walk away from. So I said yes. And we built something new. Together. I met Rachel 3 years ago at a mutual friend's party in Dallas, Texas. She was smart, sarcastic, and had this way of making every conversation feel like an inside joke. We hit it off immediately, and for the first 2 years, everything was perfect. Then, things started to change. It was little things at first, arguments over nothing, tense silences, that feeling of walking on eggshells. We both had stressful jobs, and the exhaustion bled into our relationship. I was a night shift security guard at a corporate office, barely getting any sleep, while she was a full-time nurse at Baylor University Medical Center. Our schedules rarely lined up, and when they did, we were too tired to enjoy the time together. Then came the fight. It was over something stupid. An old text message from an ex on my phone that I hadn't deleted. Rachel saw it and lost it. I tried to explain that it meant nothing, but she wasn't buying it. Voices were raised, words were said that we couldn't take back, and by the end of it, she stormed out of my apartment. For 2 days, we barely spoke. Then she texted, "Can we talk? Let's grab food." I agreed. We decided to meet at a Burger King off Interstate 35, neutral ground. It was late, close to 10 p.m., and the place was mostly empty except for a couple of stragglers. Neither of us wanted to be the first to speak, so we just ordered our food. That's when everything started to go wrong. Rachel and I sat at a booth, in the back, away from the few customers scattered across the restaurant. The overhead lights buzzed faintly, and the air smelled like stale fryer oil. "So, what do you want to say?" I finally asked, breaking the silence. Rachel sighed, stirring her Coke with her straw. "I don't know. I don't want to keep fighting, Logan, but I don't know how to move past this either." I nodded. "I get it, I messed up. I should have deleted that text." She looked at me for a long moment, then reached for her food. "Let's just eat. I don't want to argue on an empty stomach." I unwrapped my Whopper and took a bite. It tasted normal, greasy, salty, exactly what I expected. Rachel, though, she stopped mid-bite. She frowned, chewing slower, then pulled something from her mouth. A small, hard object. She placed it on a napkin and we both leaned in. It was a tooth. An actual human tooth. We stared at it in silence. Then Rachel gagged and pushed her burger away. "What the hell is that?" I looked around, expecting someone else in the restaurant to react, but no one seemed to notice. I waved at the cashier. "Hey man, there's something in my girlfriend's burger." The cashier, a teenager who looked half asleep, walked over and barely glanced at the napkin. "It's probably just a hard piece of gristle," he muttered. Rachel shot up from her seat. "Gristle? It has a root. That's a damn tooth." The kid shrugged. "You want another burger?" Rachel's face turned red with anger, but I wasn't looking at her. I was looking at the kitchen. Through the small window, I saw a cook in the back. He was staring at us, and he was smiling. The cook didn't look away. His eyes stayed locked on me. His mouth stretched into a slow, unsettling grin. Something about him felt wrong. His uniform was stained, his fingers gripping the counter just a little too tightly. Rachel was still arguing with the cashier, demanding a refund. I grabbed her wrist. "Rachel," I said quietly, "we need to go." She yanked her arm away. "Not until they explain why the hell there's a human tooth in my food." I looked back at the kitchen. The cook was gone. A cold feeling settled in my stomach. Rachel kept arguing, but I couldn't shake the unease creeping up my spine. The kitchen door swung open slightly, just enough for me to see inside. A row of burger patties sizzled on the grill, but on the counter next to them I saw something that made my breath catch. A small plastic bag, and inside, more teeth. Dozens of them. I grabbed Rachel's hand and yanked her toward the exit. "We're leaving now," she protested, but the look on my face must have convinced her. We rushed outside into the parking lot. My heartbeat was pounding in my ears. "What is wrong with you?" she snapped. I turned to face her. "Rachel, there's a bag of human teeth in the kitchen." Her expression shifted from anger to confusion. "What?" "I saw them. In a bag, next to the grill." For a moment she just stood there. Then she shook her head. "We need to call the cops." I pulled out my phone. No signal. Rachel checked hers. Same thing. Then, from inside the restaurant, we heard a sound. A slow, wet slapping noise, like something heavy being dragged across tile. And then, the lights inside flickered. A shadow moved near the kitchen door. And the cook? He wasn't smiling anymore. We didn't wait. We sprinted to my car, jumping in and locking the doors. I started the engine, my hands shaking. Rachel kept glancing at the restaurant, whispering, "What the hell was that? What did we just see?" I didn't answer. I just drove. We didn't stop until we reached a gas station a few miles down the highway. Rachel was still trembling, her hands gripping her arms. I called the police and told them what we saw. An officer arrived about 20 minutes later. We told him everything. The tooth, the cook, the bag in the kitchen. He sighed. "That Burger King's been reported before. Health violations. People getting sick, but nothing ever sticks. Corporate always covers it up." Rachel and I looked at each other. The officer adjusted his belt. "We'll check it. Out." I wasn't convinced. That night I couldn't sleep, and when I finally did, I had a nightmare. I was back in the Burger King. Alone. The cook was there, standing behind the counter, smiling. And on the tray in front of him, a fresh burger, with something hard and white sticking out from the bun. I woke up drenched in sweat. I never went back to that Burger King, and I never ate fast food again. I've been working as a food delivery driver in Phoenix, Arizona for nearly a year. It's not my dream job, but it pays the bills. I like the flexibility. No boss breathing down my neck, no boring office routine. Just me, my car, and a city full of hungry people. Most nights, my job is straightforward. Pick up an order, drive to some suburban house or an apartment complex, drop off the food and move on. But late night shifts? That's when things get weird. By 11:45 p.m., I was ready to call it a night. I had already hit my earnings goal and was parked outside a 7-Eleven on Roosevelt Street, finishing an energy drink. That's when my phone buzzed. New order, Burger King. Pickup on West Glendale Ave. Drop-off, 517 Old Pine Road. I frowned. Old Pine Road? It didn't sound familiar, and I knew most of the city by heart. But the payout? $30 for a 20-minute drive. That should have been my first red flag. I sighed. Screw it. One more run. I pulled into the Burger King parking lot. The place was nearly empty except for a few late-night stragglers. The neon sign buzzed faintly in the silence. I walked in, grabbed the order, a double Whopper meal, large fries and a Coke, and headed back to my car. As I placed the bag on the passenger seat, a strange feeling settled in my gut. Something about this didn't feel right, but I shook it off. It was just another delivery. Or so I thought. The drive took me 20 minutes outside the city. The bright streetlights of Phoenix faded, replaced by long, empty roads lined with desert brush and abandoned buildings. By the time I reached 517 Old Pine Road, I knew something was off. The house was completely dark, no porch light, no movement inside. Just a rundown, single-story house with an overgrown yard and a cracked driveway. I kept my engine running. Rule number 1 of late-night deliveries: never turn off your car. I checked the app. Leave at the door. Grabbing the bag, I stepped out. The air was dead silent. The only sound was the crunch of gravel under my boots. As I walked up the porch, the wooden boards beneath me creaked. Then I heard it. A whisper. Coming from inside the house. I stopped. My pulse spiked. I placed the bag on the welcome mat, snapped a picture for the app, and turned to leave. That's when I noticed it. A face. In the window. Watching me. I practically ran to my car, jumped, unlocked the doors, and put it in reverse. My hands were shaking as I hit the gas, my tires kicking up dust as I sped down the road. Nope, hell no, not my problem. I was halfway back to the city when my phone buzzed again. New order. Burger King. Pickup on West Glendale Ave. Drop off, 517 Old Pine Road. My stomach dropped. The exact same house, the same order. I stared at my phone, fingers numb. I hit decline. The app refreshed. New order, Burger King. Pickup on West Glendale Ave. Drop off, 517 Old Pine Road. I swallowed hard. I force-closed the app and threw my phone onto the passenger seat, then it buzzed. Unknown number calling. I didn't answer. A notification popped up. Come back. I stepped on the gas. I just needed to get home. Get away from whatever the hell was going on. The road was pitch black, nothing but the glow of my headlights ahead. I kept checking my rearview mirror, half expecting to see headlights following me. Then up ahead, a figure standing in the middle of the road. I slammed the brakes, my heart pounding. It was a man, dressed in all black, motionless, facing away from me. I honked. No reaction. I flicked on my high beams. The man tilted his head, just slightly. Something about the way he moved made my stomach churn, like he wasn't supposed to be there. Then, he took a step forward. I didn't wait. I swerved around him and floored it. As I passed, I stole a glance in my mirror. He was gone. I didn't go home. I pulled into a 24-hour gas station on Main Street, parked under the bright lights, and tried to steady my breathing. My phone buzzed. New order, Burger King, pickup on West Glendale Ave. Drop off 517 Old Pine Road. My chest tightened. I opened Google Maps and typed the address. Location not found. What? I muttered. I had just been there. I switched to satellite view. The area where the house should have been? Just empty desert, no houses, no streets, nothing. My skin went cold. I turned my phone off, shoved it in the glove compartment, and started my car. I wasn't delivering for Burger King anymore, and I sure as hell wasn't going back to Old Pine Road. I never liked traveling for work, but when you're low on the corporate ladder, you don't get a choice. It was late summer when my boss told me I had to attend a 3-day conference in a city I'd never been to. I wasn't thrilled, but I needed the job. The company booked me a room at a budget hotel near the conference center. Not the worst place, but definitely not high-end. The drive took 5 hours, and by the time I got there, I was exhausted and starving. I hadn't eaten since breakfast. There was a Burger King across the street from the hotel, glowing under flickering neon lights. Something about it looked uninviting. The parking lot was half empty, the windows streaked with grime. But I was too tired to care. I walked in, and the smell of stale grease and cleaning chemicals hit me. There weren't many customers, just a few late-night stragglers. I ordered a simple meal, a Whopper and fries. When I sat down, I noticed someone watching me. A man sitting alone in the corner. His clothes were wrinkled, his face thin, almost gaunt. His eyes never left me. He didn't eat. He just watched. I should have ignored it. I should have taken my food to go. but I didn't. I ate my meal, threw away my trash, and walked back to my hotel. I didn't realize until later that I wasn't alone. The hotel was nothing special. Cheap carpet, dim hallway lights, and vending machines missing, half their snacks. The front desk clerk barely looked up as he handed me my key. "Room 306, he said, sliding the plastic card across the counter. "End of the hall." I nodded and made my way upstairs. The hallway smelled like old air freshener and cigarette smoke, the kind of place where the walls had seen too much. When I reached my room, I hesitated. The door was off. Not damaged, not broken, just wrong. The number 306 was slightly crooked, like someone had ripped it off and stuck it back on in a hurry. The key card scanner had a long, deep scratch running down its side. I shook off the unease and swiped my card. The lock clicked, and I stepped inside. The room was basic, a bed, a desk, a TV mounted on the wall. But something felt off. The air was stale, like the room had been closed up for too long. I tossed my bag onto the chair and walked into the bathroom to splash water on my face. That's when I saw it. The mirror. There were fingerprints. Smudged, greasy prints on the glass like someone had pressed their hands against it. But here's the thing. They were on the inside. I stood frozen, staring at the mirror. My mind scrambled for a logical explanation. Maybe the cleaning staff didn't wipe it properly. Maybe it was just old streaks, but then I smelled it. That same oily, rotten smell from the Burger King. The one that clung to my clothes, my hands, my throat. Except now it was in my room. I turned slowly, scanning the space. The TV was off. The curtains were drawn. The door was locked. I walked over and checked the peephole. Nothing. The hallway was empty. My stomach churned. Something wasn't right. I double-checked the closet. Nothing. Looked under the bed, empty, and yet the smell was still there. I sat on the edge of the bed, trying to shake the unease. It was just a bad hotel, I told myself. Just paranoia. That's when I heard it. A faint scraping sound, coming from inside the bathroom. Slow, deliberate, like fingernails on glass. I didn't want to look. Every instinct told me to stay in bed, pull the covers over my head, and wait for morning. But I had to know. I stood up, heart hammering, and crept toward the bathroom. The door was slightly ajar. The light inside flickered. The mirror was fogged up now, but something was written on it. "I saw you." My breath caught. Saw me? Where? I stepped closer. The fingerprints. They weren't just random smudges anymore. They formed the shape of a hand. A large hand. And then, in the mirror's reflection, I saw it. A figure, standing in the dark corner of the room. Not a shadow, not my imagination. Someone was in the room with me. I spun around, expecting, what? A man? The thin guy from Burger King? Nothing. The room was empty, but the smell was stronger now, almost unbearable, like something rotting. My heart pounded as I grabbed my bag and bolted for the door. My fingers fumbled with the lock. I yanked the handle. Stuck. No. No, no, no. I twisted. Harder. The door wouldn't budge. Then, a breath, right behind me. I didn't think. I just threw my full weight against the door, shoulder slamming into it. The lock gave way and I stumbled into the hallway. The air outside felt fresh, clean. I turned back expecting something, but the room was just a room. The door slightly ajar, the inside dimly lit. I ran. Down the hall, down the stairs, straight, to the front desk. "There's someone in my room," I gasped to the night clerk. He barely blinked. "Room number?" 306. The man's face changed. "We don't rent that room," he said. "It's been closed for months." My stomach dropped. I was just in there," I stammered. "You gave me the key." The clerk shook his head. He reached under the counter, pulled out the guest log. My name wasn't in it. I turned, looking back at the hallway, the dim corridor leading to room 306. I could still smell it, the Burger King smell. The grease, The rot. I grabbed my bag and left. I didn't check out. I didn't argue. I just walked into the night, the cold air hitting my skin, heart racing. I didn't go back to that hotel. I didn't go back to any Burger King after that, and I never ever look into fogged up mirrors. I never liked fast food before something important. Greasy burgers sat too heavy in my stomach, and the last thing I needed before a big interview was heartburn. But that day, my stomach wasn't listening to logic. It was a brutally hot June afternoon, the kind where the pavement shimmers and the air feels thick. I had a job interview downtown, mid-level corporate, decent pay, enough to finally get out of my tiny shared apartment. I should have been focused on my answers, but all I could think about was how I hadn't eaten all day. Traffic had been a nightmare. The AC in my car barely worked, and by the time I pulled off the highway, I was lightheaded. That's when I spotted it. A Burger King, wedged between a rundown pet supply store and a nail salon. I'd passed it hundreds of times but never stopped. Something about it always looked off. But hunger makes you desperate. I pulled into the half-full lot, checking my reflection in the rearview mirror. Sweat beaded on my forehead. My suit, borrowed from my cousin, was too tight, the sleeves barely reaching my wrists. Great first impression. Stepping out, I expected the usual smell of grilled meat and fryer oil. Instead, a different scent hit me. Wet dog. A thick, sour musk hung in the humid air. I hesitated, stomach twisting, but hunger overruled hesitation. I walked toward the door, completely unaware I was stepping into a nightmare. The moment I pushed open the door, the smell punched me in the face. Not just grease or old fryer oil, those were normal in places like this. This was worse. Strong, wet, animal-like. It clung to the walls, soaked into the floors, as if the entire building had been marinating in damp fur for years. I gagged. Inside, the place looked ordinary enough. Dim yellow lights, worn linoleum floors, a few families scattered at tables. A couple of teenagers loitered near the soda machine, their sneakers squeaking against the sticky floor. And then, I saw her. She sat in the middle of the restaurant, wedged between two tables she'd pulled together. A massive woman, sweat pooling, in the folds of her skin. But what caught my eye wasn't just her. It was what lay at her feet. The dog. It was enormous, sprawled across the tile, its fur thick, matted, and damp. It had the build of a Saint Bernard, but with the face of something meaner. Pit bull, maybe? I couldn't tell. What I could tell was that it reeked. The woman was pouring water on herself, not drinking it, just dumping it over her chest, letting it splash onto the floor. Her dog immediately lapped it up. I made the mistake of locking eyes with her. Her gaze was sharp, aggressive. Her upper lip curled like I'd just insulted her mother. "The hell are you looking at?" she snapped. I tore my eyes away and headed straight for the counter. Not my problem. Just get food and go. The cashier looked young, maybe still in high school, wearing the tired expression of someone who'd seen too much nonsense at a minimum wage job. She barely glanced at me. "Whopper and fries," I muttered. Then, before I could stop myself, I added, "Does it always smell like this in here?" Her eyes flicked toward the woman and her dog, then back at me. She sighed. "Manager already told her she can't have the dog inside. She won't leave." Before I could respond, I heard it. The scraping of a chair against tile. The woman was standing. "What did you say about my dog?" Her voice was sharp, too loud, cutting through the restaurant noise. I turned slightly, hands relaxed, trying to look as neutral as possible. De-escalate. "I didn't say anything about your dog," I said carefully. She stepped closer. So did the dog. "You think he stinks, don't you? You think I don't take care of him?" Her face was red, her eyes bloodshot. The entire restaurant had gone silent. Even the soda machine seemed quieter. "Ma'am, I didn't mean..." She threw her entire drink at me. Cold, sticky soda splashed across my suit, dripping down my neck. For a second, I didn't react. I was too shocked. Then, I smelled it. Not just soda. Something else. Something rotten. And then, the dog lunged. The beast moved fast. 1 second, it was lying there, its massive body sprawled out. The next, it was airborne, lunging straight for me, teeth bared. I stumbled back, nearly tripping over a chair. My heart slammed against my ribs as the dog's jaws snapped inches from my leg. People screamed. The woman was shrieking something, jerking its leash. But the leash, frayed, old, was breaking. "Call the cops!" I shouted, voice cracking. The cashier was frozen, eyes wide. The manager, a stocky guy in his 40s, came rushing, out from the back, already pulling his phone from his pocket. "Lady, get your damn dog out of my store!" he bellowed. The woman yanked the leash, her breath heaving. The dog foamed at the mouth. "He ain't hurt nobody," she shrieked. "You people are overreacting." Then the sirens. I hadn't even realized someone had called until I heard them, growing louder. Her eyes darted toward the front window. She knew what was coming. Without another word, she yanked the beast toward the exit and stormed out. The door slammed shut, behind her, and for a long second, no one moved. Then, the restaurant exhaled. I stood there, hands still shaking, my shirt clinging to me, skin sticky with whatever the hell was in that drink. The manager clapped a hand on my shoulder. "You okay, man?" I nodded, but honestly, I wasn't sure. I glanced outside. She was gone. The dog was gone. But that smell, that awful, wet, rotten stink, still clung to the air. The cashier, still shaken, whispered, "She comes in all the time." I looked at her. "And the cops?" She shook her head. "They won't do anything. They never do." I swallowed hard, suddenly nauseous. All I knew was one thing. I would never eat at that Burger King again.